At some point on my journey, I really had to decide if I wanted to live in scarcity anymore. And that's not to say that you can get rid of your fear, because we're human beings and fear is part of that experience. But to understand the dynamic of abundance and finding it within you is a really profound experience. So to find that connection for me, it was definitely a spiritual ride, and it has covered off an array of things like my health, my prosperity, my relationships, my purpose, you name it, becoming a parent. It was all on it wasn't one move that got me to find, really tap into that abundance and use it moment to moment. I think it's built up over time, understanding duality and really using that muscle, the energetic muscle, to tap into it and move from that place. Wasn't one place, wasn't one thing. And everybody's story is different. So I've called upon some friends and abundance experts I know and love and to support us along our journey, because by no means am I finished. And I think that's part of the reason I started this podcast. And so I welcome you. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Your Abundance Podcast. It's a space for you to expand your abundance. I'm Erin Trethowan, your host and your guide on this transformative journey. And I'm thrilled to have you co-creating this podcast with me. You calling in for answers, me calling in for answers, and my desire to ask questions is a great match. I'm really clear about the fact that I want this to be a place for you to expand, provide insight, lessons, and tools that you can carry on your own personal journey to abundance within you. Before we dive in to your abundance conversations, I invite you to subscribe, rate, and leave a review if you enjoy what we share, because your feedback fuels our mission and helps us reach more hearts in search of abundance. So if you're ready to expand your horizons and blow your mind and step into the energetic world of abundance, and your answer is yes, let's embark on another episode of Your Abundance Podcast. And now a word from our partners. You know I don't just partner with anyone, and that applies to love, life, and business, because let's be real, I've learnt my lesson too many times. I've been in business for nearly 11 years, and prior to that in marketing and advertising for 20. So I've used a lot of marketing tools. Some were okay, some were clunky and had no flow, and some were just downright no. The biggest shift I made in business was ditching the bro marketing models, the overcomplicated funnels, the outdated systems, all the things that made marketing feel harder than it needed to be. I wanted marketing that aligned with my soul, something that actually felt good as a woman in business. Then Flowdesk came along. If you haven't heard of it, it's an email marketing platform built by women for women-led businesses that actually makes marketing easy. It's intuitive, it's easy, and honestly, it's just beautiful. I use it for myself, I use it for my clients, and it's become a must-have in my business. It's given me back time, flow, and the kind of marketing that I actually enjoy. So when they came to me this year and asked me to partner with them, it was an easy hell yes. Now I get to share it with you too, and because I'm a Flowdesk partner, you get 50% off for the entire year too. Grab your discount in the show notes and experience it for yourself, because marketing should feel easy. That's the point. It's not just another thing on your to-do list. Now, let's get back to this week's episode. Hello, and welcome to the 4th episode of Your Abundance Podcast. I'm Erin, and I'm super excited to be here. I literally am bursting out in the heart to record this podcast. And the energy that's flowing with it is just beautiful. I drew a card today for it. Then for the episode, we're going to be talking about the numbers speak volumes in your abundance journey. But the card that I got was called the Mother of the Salt Waters. Passion, wild, love, open your heart and let love in. is a beautiful symbol for abundance and really just tapping into that feminine energy. And it's funny that I work with the water oracles all the time because I'm a water sign, and the numbers, the numerologies, all that kind of thing is something that we can all tap into. But it's about the numbers and the numbers within you on your abundance journey. And that's what I'm here to talk about today. If you start seeing 1111, 222, like sequencing of numbers, then you start to notice that you and the universe are having a little conversation. And the universe likes to speak in numbers, but so do we, because abundance is wealth and money. Everything around us is given a number, it's given a graph. We can look at everything in the terms of numbers, especially in the workplace. We were given a number, and back in the day, you became a number, not a face. And you slowly, over time, we're rebuilding companies so that we're no longer just numbers anymore. And I think that's part of our soul journeys and our soul makeup. But for me, the numbers, so if you look at a graph and how things come together, there's an ebb and flow in a graph, like just a standard graph that's got a curve on it. And you have an inflection point at the top and an inflection point at the bottom, and that is the point where it starts to go down and back up again. And those inflection points, I think I mentioned them last time, are really important because if you're looking at a life graph, your life graph, you can look at your life graph of emotions, which if you want to dive in deeper, you can jump into my 5 stages of empowerment training, which is 3 sessions on this about the emotions and how they look on a graph and energetically the frequencies of how they work. But that inflection point and the ebb and flow of all the numbers that we actually use day to day, but also in our energy and in our frequency, we're constantly in a level of vibration, which as humans we've labeled as numbers. 888 is an abundance frequency, 555 is love, all those different, you can look those up. And also then your emotional frequencies, you can look at your money frequencies, you can look at all those type of things. So money is an interesting thing because it's a number. And a lot of people, when they're looking at abundance, they're looking at money a lot of the time. It's not the only thing, but it is in the ether. And it's not something that you want to ignore, but it's also understanding how to look at money in an abundant way, but also having a look at the numbers, because anywhere we go, you're at a certain point and you want to get to the next point. So I'm going to use an example. If you're making $10,000 a month and you want to be earning $30,000 or $50,000 a month, then your trajectory is 10,000 and 50,000. And those numbers of those figures represent an energetic print from you. That's it. They represent an energetic print from you. And everybody's energetic print on those numbers is different. No one's is the same. You might, I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, so you're seeing, let's get a 10K month, let's get a 20K month. The nuance in that is that you're the imprint on that number. And to understand that is how you start to work in your cash flow energetics, which I'm going to go into in my Empowered Feminine program, because empowerment energetics is one of the key bodies of work that I use. And I use that a lot in all the work that I do, and I teach that across the board. So you're getting that in the 5 stage empowerment, you're getting that in empowerment energetics, you're getting that in one-on-one with me. And that is, how do you work with the energy in an empowering way rather than a disempowering way? And when we're looking at emotion, that's what the 5 stages of empowerment in relation to how do you get your energy to then be a manifestation and then to call it in. That's what that program is literally giving you a snapshot of. And then the longer programs with me are going to take you through different bodies of work in the past, future, and then coming into the point of inflection in any given time you want to up level. You will have a new frequency that you're calibrating from and to, and that's when we get the ebb and the flow. And often this transition period of back down in the graph or back or up in the graph, we have this little period of an inflection. Now that period can last a long time. It doesn't necessarily have to be like
we're on our way back down now, we're on our way back up, it can sometimes plateau. And so a plateau is pretty normal. But understanding a plateau doesn't have to last as long as it does, or you hit a place, the plateaus are there to, yeah, I'm gonna coast on this for a bit, or it's like what I would call a limiting point, because you're plateauing, you're not actually then moving again up into the next level of energy. And so the point in the numbers is that you all have your own energetic language with the numbers. And those numbers are so key to whether you want to make more money, to how much impact you have and who to. They're going to impact your health. There's so many things around you. If you think about it, Fibonacci number is the number that they use to look at in nature and the beauty of nature's cyclical and spirals, the spiraling. And that's what we're in. We're in an energetic vortex of spirals all the time. And so often people are like, oh my God, I already did this. And I'm like, when they cleared something and it's like coming up again, I'm like, yes, but we are in spirals all the time. We're spiraling either up or we're spiraling down in our vortex of energy all day long. Like we're getting happy, joy, sad, joy, happy, joy, sad, angry, shame, like you name it, they're all happening at any given time throughout the day. So when we're spiraling up and down, which there's a few people who work with spiraling, but at this point in time, when you're looking at it from an energetic point of view and you feel like you've taking the next layer of the onion off, but it feels like you've already done it, it's because there's a nuance that you need to see, or there's a shift in the energy that you need to see. So the numbers, I really want to focus in on this, is the speak volume. So the number, and I'm not going to take you through my full sequencing event of how to navigate a number to the energetic sequence for yourself. You can get that in my programs, but I will talk to you about the fact that number is a representative of an outcome, but it's not just a representative of an outcome it's two outcomes that you're representing, or three, because it's representing the outcome you think you'll get. It's representing the outcome you actually get. And it's also representing the next steps in your new alignment once you get it. And so there's a sequencing in this is, let's say you're calling in $10,000 a month and you get that. You think it will give you A, B, and C. It gives you A, B, and C when you get that, plus D, E, and F. And then there's a new alignment from that space that also flows into effect. And so each number, as you go through that sequencing, so if you're pricing something, if you're putting value on a package, if you're putting your energy out in the world for your income, like you want to get a pay rise, your resonance with those numbers have meaning, and sometimes those meanings are not a positive. And so you might hit 10,000 and the equivalent, the upper limit is sitting there at 11,000. So you've got a story about 11,000, you've hit 10, you can't get to 20 because you've got a story at 11. And that 11,000 is where you need to do the work. So it's like looking at it as a big moving document, which is how I always look at anything. Like our energetic blueprint is a moving document. Our life is a moving document. We're all like living in these like energetic constellations within our connections to everybody and everything. And so when you're looking at the number, I would suggest that you really tap into what is it that you think you're going to feel, one, when you get that result. What do you feel like you would feel? But also then, are you open to the universe actually delivering more than what you think? And this is where our expectation in abundance becomes, and it's often why our manifestation might not be working, is we're not expanded enough to believe in what we want and beyond that. So sometimes it's not just about the getting out of the place you're in, it's about where you're headed. And so there's this really balancing act of where you're coming from, where you're going, where you're headed, where you're then going and going. And that's why I call it cycles, because we're often feel like, oh, this feels like Groundhog Day, and then the other day it's like, wow, this is a whole new experience, because we're in these energetic nuances for ourselves. So when you're looking at the number, I want you to look at what it represents. So say that $10,000 represents, I don't know, 3 new clients for you. And those 3 new clients actually mean something else to you. And those 3 clients mean this, and that meaning means this. Like, you have to track it and follow it until you hit it in your body, in the creation component of your body, which is your sacral. And then as you're moving through those, there's a capacity to shift it again and then start to bring it in and call it in, and you'll start to get pings and action and intuitive moves based on that. So if you're wanting, like, you can call in $10,000 from 3 clients, but are they soul clients? Is it what you really want? There's nuances in the meaning as to what that $10,000 actually means for you. And then also the next point beyond that. So we always look at what you're calling in if you got that already. And I think that's really important when you're looking in the nuances of abundance. Numbers are really powerful and a great representative of where we're headed and who we are and what we're doing. And what we're calling in and our frequencies that we're running at in different places. And I think that's really important and powerful. So not only if you're seeing 1111, but also start to explore, what are the numbers for you? Are you a person that avoids your bank account? Are you a person that doesn't look at your numbers? Like, these kind of things are really important. My one nuance that I had when I was in sales, and I love this, and I love the energetics of sales because it's so powerful in abundance. And the energetics of sales for me was, I would constantly have a spreadsheet. Like, I'm a spreadsheet person. I have a spreadsheet and I love it. And I looked at it and I would look at it daily, and I look at it daily. It might not change daily, but it was changing energetic for me, that because it directed me where the energy was sitting in the clients and where things needed to go, because I'm that way inclined as a person. Everybody has versions of what this would be for them, but getting that information for yourself in, okay, this is everything on an energetic spreadsheet, basically, and then maneuvering that, whether it would have all the budgets, all the clients, all the current bookings, all the things that were going on, and then leading me into the next version of that as well. So it was always the next version and the next version and the next version, because it was a never-ending spreadsheet. And that's how you want to think of your cash flow. It is a never-ending spreadsheet. It's always got money on it. It's always bringing money in. It's always got stuff going on. It's always moving energy within you and within the energy fields. So it's constantly looking at, and if you want to jump in, I think it's $11. There's my soul blueprint meditation, which is very similar, but it's about your version of you as a soul and how we can jump into the energetics at any time of any part of anything that we're doing and really tap into the essence of what's going on for us. That's why I am the coach I am and how I coach. Like, I'm jumping into the energetics for you of what's actually happening in the sidelines and in the nuances and the little tidbits of information where you're like, man, my business isn't moving. My other business isn't moving. Everything's come to a halt. I'm like, where are you at moving? So having that conversation with a client this morning. It's like, you were launching, you've sent out information to this new customer. The customer doesn't respond. Excuse me, the customer hasn't responded yet. And you're waiting on them to respond. I'm like, no, you're waiting. Where are you still waiting? You're waiting for them to respond so you can take the next move. This is where energy comes into play. This is where negotiation and communication and all the components come together in these numbers. And I know that sounds really weird, but for me, I work in numbers, so I see it as that. And I work in energetics, so the energetics of the numbers are really clear to me. So you can bring me your numbers and I'll be like, okay, I can see that we've got this and this going on. Or you can bring me a dynamic that's happening in your business and I'm like, I can see this and this is happening. So that's how you're navigating the energy and how we can see where you might need to shift things a little just to create that flow and effect. And once you learn that, you'll be like, oh, yes, I know that information. Not everybody can do what I do. Really tapping into that energetic nuance for you is a powerful asset for you to have. I don't have books open all the time for new clients, but you can access my work and you can access my one-on-ones when they're open. I think that there is currently a couple of spots left at the moment, but there is also some programs you could jump into, and I do all this work. The Empowered Feminine is going to be accessing a lot of this work for you. We're going to take you through the energetics at a whole different level. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm really hoping that this lands with you of how are you dealing with numbers in your life? How do they look? How do they feel? What could you do differently? Why are you calling in numbers? Why do you want to feel more abundant? Like, those questions are really important to actually bring in what you're calling in. So I'm going to leave that with you today. And obviously, this is all here for your abundance. My perception of the world is very different to a lot of other people's, and that is why I am who I am. And I am wishing you all the best in your abundance. I love you, and I will speak to you in the next episode. Have a brilliant day.
And that wraps up another soul-nourishing episode of Your Abundance Podcast. I hope our time together has left you feeling inspired, enlightened, and ready to embrace the abundance that life has to offer. If you found value in today's episode, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss out on our future conversations. And hey, sharing is caring, so feel free to spread the abundance by sharing this podcast with your fellow seekers. And I can't wait to have our next conversation on Your Abundance Podcast. See you then.